Hey folks, JD here, and today we have one of the newest quadcopters that I have in to test. This is the MJX. Now, we saw this a couple of days ago when we looked at the unboxing. This quadcopter is very stylish, very well built, very sturdy design, and also what you'll notice is that the battery is built in, so there is no way of actually taking it out to charge unless you want to do the little screws here and take off the back, but to be honest there's really no reason in doing so, as all the cables stick out the back. So a couple of other things that I've done since the unboxing was just that I've put the Wi-Fi receiver, just clipped it onto one of the onto one of the skids here, just to keep it nice out of the way and it isn't dangling from underneath the quadcopter. So what I'm going to do, I've just gone through the pre-flight checks. I've just ensured that all the propellers are on, that the motor casings are all nice and tight, that there's nothing that could cause any injury to anyone and or damage the quadcopter. So I'm just going to plug it in. So there we go. And what I've done also is I've got the application and I've installed it onto my phone. Now there are multiple different ways you can view this. You can view it on a monitor, or you can control it. So just by viewing it, you can record video, take pictures, have a 3D view. You can 180 invert the video, and obviously the Wi-Fi as well. And that's pretty much all you can do there. Via the controls, though, you have a lot more options. Obviously, you can control its elevations, its movement as well as a load of different other buttons at the top here, which control the lights, which control the comeback control. You can start the engines, you can plan its course, you can change modes from mode 1 to mode 2, mode 3, mode 4. So there's lots of different things you can do by using the application. For the second, what I'm going to do is we're just going to use it via the monitor control, just so we can record some video, have some little movements of it going around, and then after that, then I'm going to try and see if I can control the quad with the phone only. So there we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to just turn it on. There we are. That's all on, ready to go. Let's turn on the controller. It's bind to the quadcopter standard way, and then you've got a little red shoulder button here. By pushing that, you will automatically start the motors. So don't forget, this quadcopter does have a built-in barometer, so it does altitude hold, as you can see. So there's no, I'm not touching anything here, and it is holding quite nicely. There is a slight breeze here today, and I've decided to bring this one out because it has apparently a built-in sensor that stops it from rocking side to side as much as it normally would in a slight breezy day. So let's record some video, see if I can get some video back from it. So first impressions, it does seem to be really stable. It seems to fly extremely well. Obviously the barometer built into it, which gives it the altitude hold function, is working extremely well. Also there are, obviously it is slightly breezy, so the quadcopter is going to wallow from side to side slightly, but that's not too bad. I mean, it is using the onboard stabilizers, which are helping quite a lot. So let's take it out for a bit. Let's take her around for a little bit of a flight. Let's see how she does. She's coping really well. She does fly extremely nicely, and then when you do decide to change its course and pull it back, it does change rather rapidly. So it is actually flying extremely well. Look at that. That is beautiful. And because of the built-in barometer as well, it does stay at the altitude that you give it, which again is, you know, exactly what you want from a quadcopter. Perfect, absolutely perfect. Yeah, this is really good fun. So this is only the second quadcopter that I've actually flown with a built-in barometer, so it does enable altitude hold. The first one was a JD509, so that is pretty much the only other quadcopter that I've got to go by as far as altitude hold goes. So let's bring her down and let's kill the engines. So not forget that to pull both of the analog sticks exactly in this configuration to turn off the motors. Otherwise, when it does land, it will, you might burn out the engines if it does land in grass, and the grass does get caught around the propellers. So we're going to bring this back because I haven't got any video yet. So I'm just checking to see that the phone is using the built-in Wi-Fi. Yeah, it is. Okay, fine. So let's go back to the monitor then. There we are, perfect. Now we seem to have got something. Now let's record. Now you can see the record is actually in operation. So let's take her back up. So it is rather bouncy when you do take it up to its first altitude. As you can see, it does tend to bounce side to side ever so slightly. So, but as you'd expect from the barometer, it is getting a reading. So it is trying to find out exactly what pressure that it currently sits at, so it can maintain its altitude. So let's have a quick look at this video. So the video does seem to be working quite well. We've definitely got, well, you got my legs. It does seem to be working as you'd expect. It is Wi-Fi powered. It isn't using its own 5 GHz mechanism, so it is going to be slightly rocky from time to time. So, but overall, I've got to say I'm quite impressed with its ease of use. And I don't know if you can hear, you probably can, because this the microphone in the Mobius does does add a little bit of it doesn't have a very good noise correction built in, but this is it's almost silent. It's very quiet running. The further away it gets from you, you actually can't hear it. So let's bring it in for a little swoop. Let's take her out a little bit. Let's bring her back into me in a nice great big circle. Okay, so here we go, just bringing it round now. It does do circular motions very well. It does zoom around in quite a nice big arc, and the motors do have the power to correct it as well, which is great to see, because some of the larger quads, as they fly, as you change direction quite rapidly, it does take quite a while for the motors to catch up and to push the quad into the direction that you want it to go. This doesn't seem to have that problem. It seems to fly really well, changing direction really easily. Okay, let's bring her down. Alright then folks, we're going to try and give Flight Plan a go and see whether it does actually follow a given path. So, with the quadcopter just in front of me here, what I'm going to do is make sure it's a little bit stable first, and then give it a straight line to follow, and see if it picks up on it. So far it's not picking up on that. No, not picking up on that either. Okay, so let's bring it back to me a bit. Okay, let's kind of hold it here a little bit. Let's see then if... Nope. Okay. Well then maybe this isn't going to work the way that I hope it is. I mean, it's not even trying to do it itself. it's just moving side to side. No, it just seems to be cutting the air. It doesn't seem to be wanting to go anywhere. Let's try it one last time and see. So up and down, so it goes. Ah, network is unavailable. Okay, so I've disconnected from the quadcopter. Okay, let's bring it back. Okay, let's see if we can have a little look at this camera, see how well the videos come out. I'm just going to do a couple of quite high shots here, see how it goes. Okay, oh, there's a little bit of wind action there. Not that we want any of that on the quad. Let's bring it back to me. Okay, let's land it. Lovely. Okay, so it's a bit unfortunate. It doesn't seem as if flight plan wanted to work. It doesn't matter what I try and input into the smartphone, but it won't actually follow the path. So that is a bit of a shame. But all the rest of the features of this particular quadcopter are just brilliant. I mean, if you were looking at the fact that it does FPV, you can record photos, you can do 3D flips and stunts, you can do so many other things. You can control it directly from the smartphone as well. So even if you didn't like carrying around a great big transmitter, the smartphone does actually control it quite well. I tried it, I wasn't great at it. It does feel completely different, as you'd expect. But to be honest with you, on the whole, I'm very impressed with this quadcopter. It doesn't matter the flight plan doesn't work as far as I'm concerned, because that was just something quite gimmicky I wanted to try out anyway. But as for the actual flight, the flight is extremely stable, the quadcopter is extremely stable, it's extremely responsive. Even through wind you could see it cutting through without any problems whatsoever. On the whole, I'm extremely satisfied with this quadcopter. I'm hoping that I can test out other MJX quadcopters as well to see whether or not they are better, or whether or not they are, you know, exactly the same or worse or whatever. As you'll notice, the body of the quadcopter is quite thin, the motors are quite large, giving this a lot of manoeuvrability, a lot of place to turn, and giving it a lot of control. A lot of the time we see huge bodies of quadcopters but motors that really just can't really keep up. This isn't the case. This particular quadcopter, the motors keep up and they actually power, and you feel them steering the body, rather than you hoping that the quadcopter is going to turn in the way that you want it to. So there we are, folks. I've been JD. You've been fantastic as always. Thanks very much. And until next time, happy flying.